Hello, you beautiful people. The official live stream, or you can say the special program for patch 3.8 of HSR just got announced. So today, I decided to lock in and make a video where I will mention pretty much everything we can expect to see in this upcoming live stream. So in this video, I'll mainly go over and unpack literally all the stuff that you can look forward to during this special program, like the limited and rerun banners, live stream date, and the new codes, quality of life changes, events, and some other stuff as well. Also, you might have noticed that we didn't get any drip marketing like we usually do before the live stream, but don't panic, because I'm going to talk about that as well and explain why the drip marketing is delayed. Aside from that though, this special program is going to be a very unique one because it's the last program that we will have for a patch in the 3.x cycle, and the next program that we'll have will be our introduction to the 4.x cycle and Edo Star. Okay, so you're probably a little confused why I called this live stream unique, right? Well, during the very end of this last live stream, we will get a teaser for a lot of the Edo Star characters, but for now, let me gatekeep this info, and I'll mention it during the later parts of this video. Before we begin, if you are someone who is planning to pull for the Dahlia or any of the reruns in the next patch, you might just want to check out Lootbar, because here you can get a total of 25% off on all of your purchases. Just to give you an example, I'll try buying this 3280 Nyric Shard pack, which costs $43, and this same pack costs me $50 if I buy it from the in-game shop. You can easily tell that it's way cheaper, and the top-up process is also really easy, as all you need to do is enter your UID right here, and then choose your respective server. By the way, from November 25th, Lootbar is going to have a massive big Black Friday sale where you can get an extra 10% off on all of the packs, and along with this, if you use my link from the description or the pinned comment, you can get another 10% off, making it a total of 20% discount, which is genuinely pretty insane, so don't miss out on this sale. Also, just keep in mind the usual disclaimer that everything which I mention in this video is taken from different sources, and it can be changed at any point because it's not set in stone, so take all this info with a grain of salt. With that being said, let's begin without wasting any more of your time or energy. Okay, starting off with the basic live stream info first, patch 3.8 special program is scheduled to go live on December 5th, which is a Friday, and if you're someone who hasn't caught up to the pattern yet, both Genshin's and HSR's live streams are always scheduled on a Friday. Now, depending on which part of the world you live in and your specific time zone, the timings of the live stream can get a little weird to say the least. You don't need to worry about finding out the exact time though, because I already did that for you, and here is a list where you can see the exact timing of the special program for a lot of different time zones. Honestly, now I'm kind of curious, and I have a question for all of the viewers who live in North America. So, do you guys actually wake up at like 5 a.m. just to catch the special program, or do you just watch it later after it's already done? Personally for me, the special programs usually take place in the afternoon, so it's fairly easy to catch them. Anyways, during this live stream, we will get a total of 3 redemption codes, just like we get in every live stream, and these codes can be redeemed to get 300 Jades in total, which means 100 Jades from each code. These 300 Jades are practically free as you just need to redeem them in the game, and as soon as they release these codes, I'll have all of them posted on the community post section of my channel, so make sure to subscribe because in that way, you don't even need to make the effort of searching for these codes. Moving on, let's take a look at the only new character who is going to be released in this patch, and to nobody's surprise, this character is the Dahlia. She is a fire-type unit following the path of nihility, and her kit is pretty much based around the break playstyle and the 3 main break DPS characters. To simplify her kit even further, you can basically think of her like a DLC for the break archetype, just like how Hyacinth's was a DLC for the DOT archetype and the DOT team. In my opinion, the Dahlia is one of those characters who aren't really that hyped in the meta because their kit is mostly focused around an older archetype and not something new. Usually though, these characters turn out to be really broken, and we already have a few examples like Cypher and Hyacinth's. Yep, just like both of those, the Dahlia is also a really broken character in her niche, and I'm not even exaggerating a little bit. This is the list of all the buffs she provides at E0 for your break main DPS, while being on a 4-star light cone and a somewhat decent build. Now, if that wasn't enough to convince you how good she is, take a look at this graphic I made where I calculated how much the Dahlia actually buffs Firefly in the classic break team with Lingsha and Fugue. I think anyone with eyes can easily see that 110% damage increase in Firefly's total DPS just by adding the Dahlia in the team, and honestly, this big of a buff is pretty damn absurd to say the least. Overall, If you're a Firefly main, I would say the Dahlia is literally a must-pull unit, because not only does she buff Firefly by a huge amount, but she also removes pretty much all the downtime that Firefly has on her complete combustion due to her third trace, which lets Firefly regenerate a lot of her energy. Don't worry though, if you main any of the other break units, mainly Rappa or Boot Hill, and even some niche or fun options like Shuei, the Dahlia is still a must-pull character for you because she is the absolute best character for any unit related to the break archetype. Anyways, talking about her release date, the Dahlia will get her featured banner in the first half of the patch, and this banner will go live on December 17th for the Asia/Europe servers and around 10 p.m. on December 16th for the America ones. Next up, I know I'm talking a lot about characters and banners, so let's switch up the topics a little bit and talk about why there is no drip marketing for version 4.0 units and when will it likely happen. Firstly though, if you're one of those people who are unaware about this drip marketing schedule, usually, around 3 days before the special program, we get drip marketings for the characters who are going to be released in the next patch. To give an example, we got Cyrene's drip marketing exactly 3 days before the special program for patch 3.6, and similarly, we got the Dahlia's drip marketing 3 days before the special program for version 3.7. Now, I think by this point most of you have caught on how this schedule works, and you're probably wondering why we didn't get any drip marketings for the 4.0 units, right? Well, if you've been keeping up with my videos, you already know the entire reasoning behind the delay and why it is happening. To explain it shortly, Honkai Star Rail's next planet that we were going to travel in patch 4.0 was going to be Edo Star, and this planet was heavily, and I mean very heavily, based on a mix of Japanese and cyberpunk themes. Now though, due to there being some severe political tensions between Japan and China, I don't think Hoyoverse can release a planet basically based on Japan without getting into some trouble, and that's why there are a lot of rumors going around that they're removing a lot of the Japanese themes from Edo Star. And a lot of characters are also getting their designs altered. Personally, I think all of this kind of explains why they had to delay the drip marketing, because if they're changing the characters' designs, they'll obviously have to change their splash arts and all that stuff as well. If we look at the other possibility though and stop overthinking about all this stuff, the drip marketing delay could just be because they didn't want to reveal the designs of the new characters randomly, and they wanted to reveal it in a special trailer. And that's why they delayed it. Usually, in any other kind of situation, I would say this is likely the reason for the delay instead of the first one, because they've done it in the past as well, where they delayed Evernight's and Dan Hung PT's drip marketing by like 5 days just to reveal their designs in the 3.5 livestream trailer along with Cyrene's design. For this delay though, they just said that the drip marketing will be released at some other random day in the future, rather than giving us specific delayed dates like they did for Evernight and DHVT. Overall, because of all the political tension and how they didn't provide a specific delayed date, I do believe that they're probably changing some design elements for the 4.0 characters, namely Yaoguang, a Xianzhou general, and Sparkle's new form. Anyways, let's take a look at the rerunning characters and banner order next, before moving on to talk about the limited time events and all that stuff. So here, I'm gonna assume that most of you who are watching this video know about HSR's very obvious strategy for choosing which characters are going to get a rerun and when. Basically, if you look at any of the past banners, you'll notice a very similar pattern that most of the characters who are appearing on the rerun banners usually have somewhat decent synergy with the new characters that got released in that patch. HSR has been using this rerun pattern for ages, and they're probably going to use it in patch 3.8 as well, which means we can easily predict that a Firefly and Fugue rerun is already confirmed for the next patch. Both of these units have insane synergy with the Dahlia, and on top of that, they synergize really well with each other, which makes it really obvious that these two are definitely going to appear on the rerun banners. Now, in my opinion, there will only be a total of 3 rerunning characters in this patch, and they won't rerun all the break main DPS units, because if they do that, they will have to rerun all the characters in a triple rerun banner to fit all of them. Now though, the problem with this is that HSR usually doesn't put the triple rerun banner in non-hyped patches, and they like saving it for patches which are really hyped and can bring in a lot of new players. You can see all of the patches where they put a triple rerun banner were considered really hyped patches, and why would they ever put this triple rerun banner in 3.8 when they can just put it in 4.0, which is obviously going to be way more hype, right? I think my logic makes a ton of sense here, and following it, I'm assuming the last character who is going to get their respective rerun in this patch will either be Rappa, Boot Hill, or Lingsha, with the chances of a Boot Hill rerun looking way higher compared to the other two. Alright, moving on. let's take a look at all the limited time events that we're going to see in version 3.8. So, unlike some of the recent patches, this patch is only going to have a total of 2 limited events instead of 3. And this is likely because this patch is the last patch for the 3.x cycle, and they probably don't want to invest too many resources in this patch, as they're likely focusing on patch 4.0. Anyways, coming back to the events, the flagship event, or in simpler words, the main event for this patch, looks very fun, and it's totally based around those cute little chimeras. Basically, during this event, you will need to enter a competition, or you can say a tournament arc, where you will build and train your own chimera team, and then, because it's a tournament type event, you will go up against 13 other chimera trainers. Honestly, it's pretty obvious that these 13 chimera trainers are going to be the 12 Chrysos heirs along with Cyrene as the 13th, and personally, I'm a bit excited and sentimental to see the entire Amphireus cast again, as this event is likely going to be our final time seeing them for a long while. Now, compared to the first event, the second event of this patch is pretty lackluster, as it's just one of those classic fighting events where you just go in, fight the enemies, and clear the stage to get your rewards. In my opinion, these events are genuinely pretty good as filler events, as they're quite fast to complete and pretty straightforward as well. Finally, as I promised at the start of the video, let's talk a little bit about the reveal of Edo Star characters in the 3.8 special program. So, first of all, I do want to preface this by saying that this teaser for the Edo Star characters that I'm going to talk isn't really confirmed at the moment, and it's totally a speculation based on the previous teasers. Basically, in version 1.6 special program, we got a teaser for the Penacony characters, and similarly, in version 2.7 special program, we got a teaser for the Amphireus characters, so following that pattern, we should get a teaser for the Edo Star characters in patch 3.8 special program, because it is the last patch in its entire patch cycle, just like how 1.6 and 2.7 were the last patches for their patch cycles. Now, if we do end up getting a teaser, they would likely reveal most of the characters who are going to be released in the early half for the Edo Star arc, like 4.0 to 4.4, and personally, I'm pretty excited about it. I have a lot of characters that I'm looking forward to, and if they do end up releasing the teaser, I will have a video ready for you guys, so make sure to keep an eye out for it. Well, there you go. That's all the new stuff we're going to see in patch 3.8 special program. Overall, I would say that I'm pretty hyped for the live stream, as we're going back to Penacony, and we're likely going to meet a lot of the Penacony characters who I really like. Other than that though, I'm obviously really hyped for the Edo Star character teaser, but honestly, I would advise you to not get your hopes up too much, because the chances of the teaser being in this live stream is pretty low. I'm kind of curious though, who do you guys plan on pulling in this patch? Also, if you ended up watching until the end, you might want to consider subscribing as well. With that being said, I just want to say it again that I love y'all, and I will see you in another one.